So, Draco Malfoy is making a Harry Potter documentary. My father will hear about this! Hey up, hope you had a good weekend. First of all, before I start this video, for all the people who are into their technology and know things about videos and lighting, I know this isn't the most amazing lighting, but I've got home from work, sun's gone down, you know, I haven't really got many alternatives, I'm afraid, so this is what you get, okay? Enjoy it. I hope you had an awesome weekend, and I hope you weren't on the receiving end of any dodgy love potions the weekend before. I mean, it was Valentine's Day after all. Now, it turns out that despite the Harry Potter film series ending nearly 4 years ago, and the book series ending 4 years before that, Jesus Christ, it's 8 years since the last Harry Potter book came out. I didn't really think about that. That's amazing. Even though it's been that long, there is still Harry Potter news all the time, or at least that's what it seems like. And now, the latest bit of news, Tom Felton is starring in a documentary about the Harry Potter fandom. How crazy is that? It's being made by the BBC. It's coming to our screens in April, I believe. And yeah, it's just about the whole fan culture. There will be new interviews with Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, J.K. Rowling, and as well as collectors, cosplayers, and just fans overall. What's good to hear about it though is because it's being made by the BBC, it's very much going to be with a neutral attitude, very serious. It's not going to be in an ironic or condescending way towards the subjects, you know. It's not going to be made to exploit anyone, you know? It's going to look at the most dedicated of fans who get up at 4 in the morning just to get to a viewing or queue for hours and hours so they can see their favourite Harry Potter stars. Now, it doesn't say how much Tom Felton will be involved in this documentary. I mean, for all we know, it might just be him narrating, but it's still really interesting to think about. I mean, the Harry Potter fandom around the world is still going really strong, and I don't know, there's something about the Harry Potter fandom that doesn't seem as nerdy and geeky as the Star Wars. Maybe not as geeky anyway, but yeah, and just the size of it, you know, the size and the strength of it to this day, there's nothing really like it. Now, with that in mind, there are a few points I would like to discuss. Firstly, Daniel and Rupert must be so sick of doing interviews about Harry Potter, and yet here's another one. I mean, yes, it is the biggest film series in the world, but if I was Dan, I would just be like, hey, guys, let it go. That was a really weird accent actually. I don't know what on earth I was going for there, Daniel Radcliffe, but yeah, I don't know. Secondly, how much they're going to focus on these so-called superfans. I mean, without going into this in too much detail, there's this controversial idea, which does have a fair bit of a backbone to it, that some fans are only really superfans because of the resources they have to be such fans. And yes, I mean money. Whereas there are some fans out there who is just as big fans inside, you know, in terms of the feelings and emotions they associate with whatever it is they're fans of, but they haven't got that same level of resources. Will the documentary focus on that and how they go about being fans within their own means? Because there might be some super fans who really do love Harry Potter more than life itself, but how much of the whole superfan thing is just more than a marketing ploy to make some feel like they're really doing enough and others feel a little bit guilty that they aren't doing enough? My third point, and I feel a little bit hypocritical about this, is that, I don't know, those bands, those massive mega pop bands that some people really obsess over, you know, like that band that rhymes with Sun Erection. What on earth was that? That sounds really dodgy actually. Basically, I look at how those fans react to the pop stars on stage and how they're crying with tears of joy and happiness and sadness and all kinds of weird emotions of how they feel about these people on stage, and I just feel like, oh my god, what is happening to the world? But then I don't feel that about the Harry Potter fandom because I like Harry Potter. So surely I'm shooting myself in the foot there. Finally, it's interesting that they haven't waited a few more years to see what the strength of the fandom is like then. You know, say more like 5 or 10 years after the last film, you know, in 2020. See how the Harry Potter fandom is reacting then. But then I suppose if it's about queuing up for events, it's got to be fairly soon after the main series has ended. And in fact, this kind of acts like a good midquel between the original series and then Fantastic Beasts when that eventually arrives. But anyway, that's enough from me blithering on about Harry Potter. What do you think? What do you think about this documentary? What do you think they'll focus on? Will it be a good thing or a bad thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you next time.